ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, dear Prabhujis, we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. And in our last session we read the 53rd verse, now we are going to read the 54th verse. So, very beautiful verse. After hearing from Lord Shri Krishna about the soul, super soul, karma yoga, buddhi yoga, actions without fruitive results, nishkam karma, and the state of samadhi. In the last few verses, Lord Shri Krishna described about samadhi. So now Arjun ji is asking Lord Shri Krishna. So very beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita. Arjun ji is saying, Arjuna vacha स्थित प्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्थस्य केशव स्थितधि किम प्रभाषेत किम आसीत व्रजेत किम। अर्जुना वाचा स्थित प्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्थस्य केशव स्थितधि किम प्रभाषेत किम आसीत व्रजेत किम। स्थित प्रज्ञस्य का भाषः समाधिस्थस्य केशवः स्थितधि किम प्रभाषेत किम आसीत व्रजेत किम। So very beautiful verse. Arjuna vacha. Arjuna said, स्थित प्रज्ञस्य, of one who is situated in fixed Krishna consciousness, का what, भाषः language, समाधिस्थस्य, of one situated in trance, केशवः O Krishna, स्थितधि one fixed in Krishna consciousness, kim what, prabhashet speak, kim how, asit does remain, brajet walk, kim how. Arjuna said, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshavaha. How does he speak and what is his language? Ka bhashaha. Kim prabhashet. How does he sit? How does he walk? Kim asit vrajet kim. So Arjuna said to Lord Shri Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? So very beautiful verse, and in the purport Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, as there are symptoms for each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly one who is Krishna conscious has his particular nature, talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man, as a diseased man has his symptoms by which he is known as diseased, as a learned man has his symptoms, so a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings. One can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of any man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak, and certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptom of a Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and of matters relating to him. Other symptoms then automatically follow as stated below. So, very beautiful verse. Sthit pragyasya, Arjunji, after hearing about soul, after hearing about matter, understanding well that the soul or the person is beyond the matter, beyond the material body, and after understanding about karma yoga, buddhi yoga, nishkam karma, and after understanding about samadhi, now Arjunji, he is asking Lord Shri Krishna. Arjuna vacha sthit pragyasya ka bhashaha. What is the language of one who is situated or who is fixed in Krishna consciousness? Sthit pragyasya ka bhashaha samadhisthasya. One who is in samadhi, one who is fixed in samadhi, one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness, whose mind is in trance, samadhisthasya keshavaha sthitadhi. Again, so 3 words. O Keshav, Arjunji is addressing Lord Shri Krishna as Keshav, and he is asking sthit pragyasya samadhisthasya sthitadhi. Sthit pragyasya, of one who is situated in fixed Krishna consciousness, samadhisthasya, of one situated in trance, and sthitadhi, one fixed in Krishna consciousness. So, full trance or that divine consciousness we understood in the previous verse, only a person who understands all the features, all the aspects of the absolute truth, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan, he can only be fixed in complete samadhi or complete trance in divine consciousness, which is actually Krishna consciousness, because Krishna is the last word. Krishna is the last word in God realization. So, one who is situated in fixed Krishna consciousness, one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness and off situated in trance. Sthita pragyasya samadhisthasya sthitadhi. So Arjunji is asking all the about a person who is situated in samadhi or a person who is fixed in Krishna consciousness. Ka bhashaha, what is his language? Kim prabhashet, what does he speak? And Brajet kim asit brajet kim. How does he remain? How does he walk? How he talk prabhashet, and what is his language? So all these questions are very, very important, because Arjunji is asking the symptoms of a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness. So a person who is situated in trance, a person who is situated in full trance, complete trance, a person who is situated in samadhi or divine consciousness, Krishna consciousness, he also has symptoms in his dealings. And Swami Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport that as there are symptoms for each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly, one who is Krishna consciousness has his particular nature, talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. A diseased man is known by his symptoms. Swami Srila Prabhupada took the example. A rich man is known by his symptoms. How he act in his life, how he talk in his life, what are by his dealings, how he act, how he talk, how he think, how he feel. So a person, even a learned man, is known or is identified by his symptoms. So symptoms are very, very important, because Swami Srila Prabhupada, he also wrote in the purport, he gave the example of fool, or there are cheaters, because this material world is full of dangers. Padam padam yat vipadam, we understood in the previous shlokas. So, in this material world, there are chances that a person can get cheated. And there are also chances that those who are practitioners, those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, those who are practicing Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and they are trying to achieve the state of Samadhi, the state in which mind and intelligence is completely fixed in Krishna consciousness. So those practitioners, they can also identify through these symptoms whether they are fixed in Krishna consciousness or not. And in the outside world, those who are posing themselves to be in Samadhi or in Krishna consciousness, by analyzing their symptoms, one can easily understand whether they are in Krishna consciousness, whether they are fixed in Samadhi, Samadhi sthasya, sthitadhi, sthitapragyasya. So those who are fixed in Krishna consciousness, those who are in Samadhi, so this question is very, very important. What are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? So because Arjun ji is playing the part of a conditioned soul, so on behalf of all conditioned souls of this material world, especially in this age of Kali, because all of us are in complete ignorance. We do not know about our eternal constitutional position, and people in this age, we are not at all interested in Krishna consciousness, and we do not have the knowledge of Vedas, and there are chances that people can take benefit out of this situation and can cheat others. And Swami Srila Prabhupada, that's why he took example. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak. And certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. So it is very, very important to understand, and Lord Sri Krishna will describe all those symptoms of a person who is in trance, of a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness, who is fixed in Krishna consciousness, Samadhi sthasya, sthita pragyasya, sthitadhi, in detail in the following verses. So in the forthcoming verses, in the following verses, Lord Sri Krishna will describe all those symptoms. But Swami Srila Prabhupada, he already wrote in the purport, the most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. So man in Krishna consciousness, he speaks when one's intelligence is fixed in Krishna, when one is free from fruitive mentality, when one is not acting for fruitive results, when one is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, when one is not attached to fruitive actions of the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas, and when one only wants to serve the Supreme Personality, when one only wants to serve the Super Soul, the Supreme God, the Supreme Lord, then he only speaks about the Supreme Lord, how he walks, how he talks. Walks means whatever actions he takes in life, they are meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. If he walks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. If he talks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. His talks are full of the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he wants to serve everyone in this material world, motivating them to accept Krishna consciousness. to move on the path of liberation. So, Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, as a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man, as a diseased man has his symptoms by which he is known as a diseased, or a learned man has his symptoms, so a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings. One can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Shri Krishna will explain them in detail. So, most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of a man. The immediate symptom of a Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and of matters relating to him. Other symptoms then automatically follow as stated below. So, very, very important. A man who is fixed in Krishna consciousness, a man who is fixed in Samadhi, he only speaks about the Supreme Lord, about Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, or matter related with the Supreme Lord. So it is very, very important so that one can discriminate in this world. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak. And certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. So there are chances that one can get cheated in this material world because all of us have those tendencies. Pramada, Vipralipsa, Brahma, we all come in illusion, and Vipralipsa, everyone has got cheating propensity in their heart. So those who are trying to teach others, they can also be cheaters. And those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, their own mind and intelligence can cheat them. One can think that now I am situated in complete trance, now I am fixed in Krishna consciousness, and my goal is completed. So one's own mind and intelligence can also cheat a person. So it is very, very important to understand all these symptoms, and Lord Shri Krishna will explain all those symptoms in the forthcoming verses. But the very, very most important symptom that a Krishna conscious man, one who is fixed in Samadhi, whose consciousness is fixed in Krishna, he only talks about Krishna. He only talks about the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his dealings in matter related with Krishna. The immediate symptom of a Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and of matters related to him. So Krishna Katha, that's why Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed all the sadhakas, all the practitioners in Krishna consciousness, Gramya Katha na kahibe. Those who are trying to become Krishna consciousness, those who are trying to achieve that state of Samadhi, or those who are trying to get fixed in Krishna consciousness, it is very, very important for them to avoid or completely give up all sort of nonsense talks. Prajalpa Niyamagraha, all these things they destroy the practice of a practitioner, one who is practicing, one who has taken to Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga in life to re-establish his lost relationship with the Supreme Lord or attain that state of Samadhi. So it is very, very important for him to not indulge or completely give up, avoid or completely give up gossips. Gramya Katha na kahibe. So for a person, for a neophyte, for all the beginners, for all of us, truly speaking, so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction is there that we should never indulge in Gramya Katha or nonsense talking. One should only and only speak about Krishna Katha, about instructions, wonderful instructions of Lord Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, about his dealings, the dealings of the Supreme Lord, which are mentioned in the revealed scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and other Vedic literatures. So one should always engage in Krishna Katha, those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, and one who is fixed in Samadhi or in Krishna consciousness samadhisthasya sthitadhi sthitapragyasya, he will only and only speak about the Supreme Lord or matter related with him. In his words, in his dealings, in his actions, in his walks, in his talks, in his activities, he only and only tries to satisfy, because only a person who understands well that he is eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be fixed in Krishna consciousness, as explained by Swami Srila Prabhupada in the previous purports. So a person who has understood well, he gives up all other engagements. A person who understands well that he is eternal servitor of Lord Shri Krishna, he work with an aim, with the only aim to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the question Arjunji asked is very, very important. Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha samadhi sthasya keshavaha sthitadhi kim prabhashet kim asit vrajet kim. What are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence, situated in transcendence, fixed in Krishna consciousness, situated in fixed Krishna consciousness? How does he speak? What is his language? Ka bhasha. How does he sit? Asit, does remain. Vrajet, walk. Kim, how. So all actions of a Krishna conscious man, of a person who is situated or fixed in Krishna consciousness, are meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. And by seeing those symptoms, one can understand who is fixed in Krishna consciousness. And if one want to judge, if a practitioner want to understand about himself whether one is fixed in Krishna consciousness or not, he can judge himself by those symptoms. And Lord Shri Krishna will further, in the forthcoming verses, Lord Shri Krishna will explain till the last verse of the second chapter, 72nd verse, because a person who is situated in Samadhi will attain the kingdom of the Supreme Lord if he leaves the body in that state. So those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, their aim is to go back in one's constitutional position in the spiritual world. So those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, they can also, in the forthcoming wonderful verses, in a series of verses, Lord Shri Krishna will explain all those symptoms, and will also will explain how one can achieve those symptoms, how one can achieve the state of Samadhi. So very, very beautiful verse and very beautiful question by Arjunji for the benefit of entire humanity or human beings or all the practitioners of Krishna consciousness. So with this, I would stop this session here, and in our next session we will understand one by one, taking all the verses of the second chapter. We will understand those beautiful symptoms, and we will also understand through the purports of Swami Srila Prabhupada how one can attain the state of Samadhi, Samadhisthasya Sthitapragyasya Sthitadhi, in Krishna consciousness, which is very, very important for all the practitioners in Krishna consciousness. So, Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Shrotrashat Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. All glories to His Divine Grace Krishna Kripa Murti Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Bhagavad Gita, all glories to Lord Shri Krishna, all glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Holy Name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.